Faced with the Great Depression and World War II, Franklin D. Roosevelt guided America through one of its greatest domestic crises, along with its greatest foreign crisis. His presidency, which spanned 12 years, was unparalleled in length and scope. FDR took office with the country in the midst of a horrible and debilitating economic depression that sapped America's material wealth and spiritual strength. FDR was a man of the people, caring about the poor, the needy, and people who were already poor and needy before the Great Depression. Roosevelt's combination of confidence, optimism, and political skill helped bring about the beginnings of a national recovery thanks to the experimental economic and social programs of the New Deal. In foreign affairs, FDR committed the United States to the defeat of the powers of Germany, Japan, and Italy, and led the nation and its allies to the brink of victory. This triumph dramatically altered America's relationship with the world, guiding the U.S. to a position of international dominance. The U.S. would later play a leading role in shaping the remainder of the 20th century.
This is preeminently the time to speak the truth, the whole truth, frankly and boldly. Nor need we shrink from honestly facing conditions in our country today. This great nation will endure as it has endured, will revive and will prosper. So first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Roosevelt began the momentous first 100 days of his presidency by closing all banks for several days until reform legislation could be passed by Congress. He also began giving regular national radio addresses in which he spoke directly to the American people. The first of these fireside chats was about the banking crisis, where FDR urged Americans to put their savings back into banks and to end bank runs. This went a long way towards restoring public confidence, and within a month, 75% of banks were back open. Key pieces of legislation during FDR's first 100 days created some of the most important programs of Roosevelt's New Deal, including the Agricultural Adjustment Administration, the Public Works Administration, the Civilian Conservation Corps, and the Tennessee Valley Authority. In addition to programs aimed at providing economic relief for workers and farmers and creating jobs for the unemployed, Roosevelt also created reforms of the financial system, notably the creation of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which protected depositors' accounts, and the Securities and Exchange Commission, which regulated the stock market in order to prevent another crash like the kind in 1929. After the economy had begun to show signs of recovery in 1935, Roosevelt asked Congress to pass a new wave of reforms known as Second New Deal. These included the Social Security Act, which for the first time provided Americans with unemployment, disability, and pensions for old age, and the Works Progress Administration. As early as 1937, FDR warned the American public about the dangers posed by Germany, Italy, and Japan. In 1939, after World War II broke out, Roosevelt called for Congress to allow Britain and France to purchase American arms on a cash-and-carry basis. By the end of June 1940, France was captured by Germany, and Roosevelt persuaded Congress to provide more support for Britain, now left alone to fight Germany. Roosevelt broke tradition and ran for re-election again in 1940, defeating Wendell L. Willkie by 5 million votes. FDR increased his support of Great Britain with passage of the Lend-Lease Act in March 1941 and met with Prime Minister Winston Churchill in August. In the resulting Atlantic Charter, the two leaders declared the four freedoms on which the post-war world should be founded: freedom of speech and expression, freedom of religion, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. On December 8, 1941, the day after Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, FDR appeared before a joint session of Congress which declared war on Japan. Roosevelt spearheaded the alliance between countries combating the Axis, meeting frequently with Churchill and seeking to establish friendly relations with the Soviet Union. Meanwhile, FDR spoke constantly on the radio, reporting war events and rallying the American people in support of the war effort as he had done for the New Deal.
Franklin D. Roosevelt created the Fair Employment Practice Committee, which ordered that the federal government couldn't discriminately hire based on an individual's race, national origin, or religion. This allowed many black people to be able to get better jobs and wages. FDR also made strides towards desegregating the military. During the war, he increased Jewish immigration quotas to allow more people escaping from Europe to come to America. He also paid and worked with Sweden to save over 100,000 Jews from being deported to death camps and exterminated. He later also helped to create Israel. James Polk, on the other hand, was known for his hunger for battle. He invaded Mexico, a poorer and weaker country, just for land. The fledgling country had only been independent from Spain for 25 years at the time. Over 25,000 Mexicans died, including troops as well as civilians. Most Americans had been opposed to the war, but James Polk decided to go along with it anyways. In conclusion, FDR was a better president because of his fantastic reforms that helped to pull America out of its worst economic crisis, how he led the United States to victory during World War II, and how he made progressive action towards equal rights for all Americans. He was a well-liked and inspirational man, changing America and the world for the better as we know them today.